The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Dark Side of the Ring returns.
It just got crazier and crazier and hooked you into it.
With even more hidden truths.
She's schizophrenic. That's some serious shit.
Chris can hide behind the mask. And little did I know that he was hiding behind the mask the whole time.
And untold secrets.
XPW was known for being crazy.
That was just a license to kill for me.
Brought to light.
We're gonna have an exploding ring match tonight.
This was insane.
When Hogan came in the courtroom,
I am gonna crush you like a bug.
There was plenty of drugs on his flight.
is somebody gonna say that this has gone too far?
If I never talked about the fucking plane ride from hell again in my life, I would be very happy.
Dark Side of the Ring.
Off the ropes, be the podcast of mass destruction. Guess who's here for OGs of wrestling? Ain't no competition, we report, you gon' listen. Never no mercy, we bring the ring to the streets. If you don't know, you better find out. Off the ropes, here to prove a point, #1 in the league. Bet you don't wanna tussle with us, know where to hide or run. Step in the ring, get done, you're never stepping out again. So you're back on the wolf pack.
Welcome to another brand new episode of Off the Top Rope Podcast. This is the Afterdark, where we go behind the scenes of professional and the independent wrestling circuit. For those that probably hear me, I'll just edit that last part out. So that's what, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. We're just here to quickly discuss the Dark Side of the Ring episode on Thursday at 9:00 on Vice TV. Documented the plane ride from hell that took place in May 2002 from a 4-day expedition and pay-per-view. The WWE and the Insurrection pay-per-view that happened in 2002, and the plane ride back to the States. And that long 14-hour flight has been dubbed Hell on, the plane ride from hell. I was just getting into it. Other channels, other wrestling historians had documented this, but certain people like me doesn't really know the whole situation behind the scenes. But when it comes to this, this is why Dark Side of the Ring has been controversial since the very beginning, because they're exposing different events and different situations through different people, or other people have really spoken up about those events and situations. We've seen this before, from Vicky Guerrero to Nancy Benoit's sister, a bunch of other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, because now me looking at this whole thing, people want to say that they discussed about professional wrestling, but I was like, you only talked about something from one event. There's tons of events, including the Jimmy Snuka incident, that even he hasn't been, criminally charged in his actions, clearly. And then now, 6 years later, he's dead. So people can't jump to Tommy Dreamer for what the hell that he said about Ric Flair. And Ric Flair basically defended himself, and he's 72 fucking years old, for crying out fucking loud. Says a lot of the society of what we're living in nowadays is being sensitive. Now, I'm not sticking up for him. I'm not sticking up for Ric Flair in this case. But come on now, there's been other people that have done worse. And then when RVD said wrestlers be putting H-bombs in other people's drinks, men and female, and that says a lot right there. Like, bro, you just basically stated that some of these wrestlers have raped these ring rats, as they want to call them back in the day. I don't know if they still use the terminology now, but I'm pretty damn sure that if they do, that it's only like a handful of them that really does that stuff. But he just basically stated that some of these wrestlers really do be going beyond the bar. That means these men who are big, buff guys probably have triple dicks, and yet they can't bag women. That says a lot. That says a lot right there to me. That makes me feel like then what's that? What was that muscle for show? And you can't even get yourself right the right way. Like, that says a lot, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, that shit, that's just sick. But it was the events that happened on the plane. First, First, I think the online flight attendants they were screwed from Jump Street because dealing with these wrestlers, you got Ric Flair, you got a bunch of these wrestlers that was going through a lot of shit at the time. There was a lot of drug use in those days, especially when it comes to the pills. And you know, a lot of them I stated that in the episode too. All of that is like one big ecosystem coming together in formation, and it's gonna build up to something. And some shit was bound to brew. And next thing that you know, you get Kurt Hennig pulling the rib on Brock Lesnar while he was sleeping, and that's what caused one incident. Goldust, Dustin Rhodes. Oh man, listen, I'm a Dustin Rhodes fan. It wasn't anyone else, and people who haven't been through a divorce and the one person truly loves the other person, but the other person didn't, and the other person is going through that divorce and it hits them different. I would feel what Dustin Rhodes had felt, especially if I'm drinking. That's going to feel that fire. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all can't disqualify him for that. I mean, I understand from Terry Runnels' point of view. And let me just say this first. Terry Runnels, if you need a black sugar daddy, come holler at me, please. Oh, please come holler at me. I'm dying for that because, number one, I thought, no, listen, dude, you may shake your head at that, but listen, you got 16 imaginary girlfriends, so you haven't really heard me talk about the fantasies that I be having with some of these women, but she's the one case that I thought, okay, she was fine at first, back then when we was kids, but you know, as we get older and certain people that we idolize had to change in their ways, or they built up some new tendencies and shit like that. I just think she just remained humble the whole entire thing. And she follows suit. If some person would have said, don't sell it to her, she's not going to sell it because she knows about the business. So give her credit for that. Because she could have been said a lot of shit. A lot of shit about that. But so Terry, holla at me, honey. Anyway, yeah, so for Dustin Rhodes, drunk singing, Kurt Hennig pulling the prank on Brock Lesnar back then, and Brock is not the one for jokes, to X-Pac cutting Michael Hayes' hair, his famous ponytail, that even still today he's still pissed off about. He's still angry about that to this day. And you know what? I don't blame him either. That's like someone coming in my sleep with a magic fucking Sharpie marker and drawing dick penises all over my face. And then I'm waking up in the day. Can't wash the shit off. Or even worse, you probably super glue my face to the floor. Yo, if I was on that plane too, I would have been just like Brock Lesnar. Nah, I'm killing you on this plane. You're not gonna pull no rib like that because certain people don't like that. I mean, don't like pranks and shit like that. I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's another scenario, but the deeper scenario that we're gonna quickly discuss before anything else was Ric Flair's actions on that plane. Now, granted, for those of you that don't know, Ric Flair has been the nature boy since the 70s. Since the 70s, when he was in the independent circuit, the AWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, when he finally got over with that gimmick and he became world champion and putting asses in those seats, the gimmick became the person. You know how some people can always split their personality from the wrestling gimmick and keep that to the side, but you keep your true self, your normal self over here to the other side. That's what I felt what happened with Rick. He slowly became the nature boy, ego and personality-wise, and he blended in with his own personality. And that's why Ric Flair is so beloved in multiple communities, including the Black community. I mean, you know, you've seen him in Migos' music video a few years back, and you know, he's actually in rap music videos. Holy shit. Ric Flair is like the Don Juan of wrestling. You know what I'm saying? That's bottom line. There's nothing more that I can say about that. But his actions on that plane, come on now. I don't know how old he was. He had been in his 50s when this happened. He had been in his 50s, and styling, profile, kiss, stealing, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, the whole shebang bang. He listened to his gimmick. As much as people want to say that's just part of his gimmick, part of his routine, I'm still saying no. Like, come on now. Like, there's only so much that you can do. There's only so much that certain people can handle, can take. And I feel so bad for the flight attendants because one of them, especially who was on the episode that documented all the stuff that was happening to her, and she got cornered in the cubby with him, basically with a robe on, and Tommy Dreamer actually exposing, he had probably a big dingling. You know what I'm saying? That reset a lot that some people were watching that, but no one wanted to say nothing about it. No wonder why this is an infamous, controversial event that took place, because certain people will stick to this side of the story, but other people would be like, yo, nah, this really fucking happened. This, that, and the third. Boom, 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 boom. And now you got controversy. So, I mean, Ric Flair, you should do better, man. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't want to come at another person's character like that, but bro, if a black person would have done that, oh no, fucks no. That motherfucker would have been locked up in a week. This is nearly 20 years later, 19 years. 19 years later, people want to backlash on this. A little bit too late for all that. You should have backlashed this shit when it happened. But customary WWE, they want to protect their superstars. They want to protect their product. They want to protect their goddamn brand. Vince McMahon was also on that plane. So don't all point the finger at Jim Ross, because Jim Ross has to be the one that go and execute what Vince McMahon wants. Vince McMahon still runs the show no matter the fuck what. He's the one that writes the checks. He's the one that's paying the fucking airlines to use that plane for 4 days to go overseas to Germany. So don't point the finger at JR, even though JR could have done a lot more because he was vice president of talent relations, which is actually very untrue. And a lot of the wrestlers respect him backstage. So this should be no reason once the fuck ever all that pointing the finger gotta go to Jim Ross. No, that shit gotta go to Vince too. Vince knows what the fuck that he was involved. I can't say involved, but he knew about and probably didn't execute it. So then we just see the firing of certain superstars. We'll go down the list in a little bit, but even from when the flight attendant even stated that Scott Hall was sexually harassing her too. Now let me just take this back real quick. This has been documented everywhere, from WWE to ESPN 6, to ESPN 60 of Scott Hall, and he even admitted about his previous drug uses and shit like that, from his drinking to taking pills and shit. And I really firmly believe that he did not know what the fuck happened to him on that plane. I feel like he was telling the truth when he said he believed that Kurt Hennig had H-bombed his drink, and that's when he passed out on the plane. Because there's no fucking way that he probably could have looked at the flight attendant and probably thought of her as somebody else that he was probably dreaming about. You fucking know. I may be drunk one of these days, then I might be thinking about some other bitch in my bed. Shit happens. But his substance abuse issues has been documented already. So I felt like this wasn't premeditated from him to do from Jump Street. It was the matter of him being in the hallucinating state of being H-bomb in his cup. And of course he's one of the boys, and he's a river too. Probably did some shit as well and probably passed out. But PJ Polanco, aka Just Incredible, someone that we had on the podcast here before, shout out to him, by the way. I think he was the real MVP. I think he stuck to his story. I think he was a very noble one out of everyone that was interviewed about that event, and was very truthful about his point of view of the situation. Him and Rob Van Dam too. So if RVD would have never said anything about wrestlers putting H-bombing other people's drinks, and often them to do pranks or to do God knows what to these women passed out, fuck that. Fuck that. That's just disgusting on all fronts. And for me, being as a person, a wrestling fan, you struck a nerve in me that I'm like, imagine if Stone Cold Steve Austin would have done that shit, even though he's been accused of sexual assault on one of his ex-wives before too. So he's not off the hook. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. Keep your motherfucking hands to yourself. Keep your motherfucking hands to your goddamn self. When it comes, when it comes to these women, and I don't give a shit if you are a wrestler and you're going through these shit like that. There's other ways to get help. And going to drinking and drugs is not going to be one of those things too. Even though clearly I'm smoking the blunt right now too, but my trauma is different. So I don't condone what happened on that fucking plane. I hold everyone responsible. I think the lightest one that did any damage was Dustin because he was just singing drunk. Okay, and to his ex-wife that would happen to be on the same goddamn plane ride. Like, come on, man. Like, that's just adding more gasoline to his fire to go off. So I'm not holding Dustin responsible for majority of the big shit that happened, but the big shit that happened, like Kurt Hennig, Brock Lesnar, Ric Flair, X-Pac for cutting off Michael Hayes' ponytail, setting off that chain reaction and shit. Certain people got to be penalized for that. I believe certain people did, and God rest Kurt Hennig's soul because he passed away a little after he got released from WWE, which was very sad, unfortunately. But Ric Flair wasn't even fined, wasn't even punished, nothing. So I want to know what really happened behind the scenes when it came to him and Vince talking. Because I know for goddamn well, if this was someone the fuck else that was not Ric Flair, that motherfucker would have been fired. That motherfucker would have been gone. He would have been blackballed for never even wrestling the fuck again. But because he's Ric Flair, he gets a slap in the wrist. That's like Donald Trump even saying, grump in the pussy. And he really did on television. And no one is trying to sue him. The world is black and white, but I'm living in tons of shades of gray as we currently speak. There's certain things that you're not capable of doing, but there's certain things that you are capable of doing. And then there's certain things that even I won't even touch. And what these wrestlers did and creating terror on the plane 30,000 feet in the air, and God forbid if the fight between Kurt Hennig and Brock Lesnar would have resulted to that emergency door being flung the fuck open, they all could have died. And then we wouldn't even be here talking about the situation. That's all I got to say about this, man. I'm going to turn this over to Dukes. I'm going to let him talk his shit real quick about this. This is going to be a short one because we're going to be talking about last week in wrestling when it comes to our weekly, weekly taping. So I'm going to just take something from Dukes real quick before he takes the mic. Fuck you, WWE and Ric Flair. I'm not going to say fuck Tommy Dreamer. I'm not going to say fuck PJ Polanco. I'm not going to say fuck RVD. I'm not even going to say fuck JR. Fuck you, Vince. Fuck you, WWE. And fuck you, Ric Flair. Because now you just pull some creep shit out here. I said, now, imagine if he would have went. Now imagine if he really does go to AEW. The boos that he's going to be fucking getting because of this thing. Because why? Dark Side of the Ring had opened up our eyes to a lot of these previous events that have happened. And it made us look at a new light and a new vision. That now more secrets are going to be exposed as the rest of the third season is finishing up. We're going to see a lot more shit. So hold on, buckle your seatbelts, folks, because you're going to hear me go off with a few more people this season when it comes to Afterdark, but when it comes to Dark Side of the Ring. Dukes, is on you.
Yo, thank you. Thank you for off of that. But I feel like this. No bullshit. After watching Dark Side of the Ring, I gotta be wondering. Since it's a Me Too movement, right? And if I'll point this, if Bill Cosby went to jail for all them years of drunken of doing things he did.
So you mean cancel culture?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well there you go, cancel culture, folks.
I'll like this: if Bill Cosby went to jail, Ric Flair should go to jail. It's equally the same. It's equally the same thing that what Bill Cosby did. Same thing Ric Flair did. It sucks. Like, yeah, I said FR. Yes, I said F Tommy Dreamer. Reason why? It's because you can't sit there and say the stuff you have to say and not get away with it. Impact got released, like suspended you for that stuff. Come on now. What do you think? No one will not know and hear what you're going to sit there and say? Only people I feel bad for on the whole entire deal is honestly Kurt Hennig and the lady who adored everything from that plane ride. Scott Hall and Dustin. I would say Terry Reynolds, but I more likely would say Dustin. Here's the reason why. Because Kurt Hennig once he got released, once he died. If he wasn't been released, we may never know how many more years we would probably see Mr. Perfect. See Mr. Perfect on TV. Scott Hall, I don't feel bad for him. Like he sat there and said he been documented on his abuse. And I'll probably say someone probably drugged him and he probably passed out and no, I did not know he was alive or dead. Those number of the stories where they would sit there trying to carry him.
Hey yo, and even the fact that PJ Polanco even said that he had to put sunglasses on him and put him in the wheelchair to go through customs because they didn't know that he was even dead or not, but they just know that he was just passed out.
And just knowing that tells me like, yo, something ain't right. Because a normal person would have gotten up and do this and be and just, but if you're a drunken person, would have been able to do that. But you had something in your drink. I don't know about that. Another person is that it's a stewardess. The stewardess of that whole plane ride. My heart and love go out to you because what you have gone through wasn't right at all. But how the story is going on, it seemed like it was doomed from the start. Something was about to go down. Because how is it that you got delayed? You get delayed for 7 hours straight in a plane ride with wrestlers, and all they did was doing is drinking. So 7 hours of
not just drinking. There was also taking pills too.
Yeah, like I said, they wiped out
and
the whole.
And then I think one of the flight attendants found a syringe on the floor. So what the fuck that could have been? You know what I'm saying? Like, if Vince McMahon knows what the fuck's going on, and that's why shortly afterwards they got the whole F out of there. That's when they turned to WWE. Because WWF now have been staining this shit like that completely ever since the lawsuit. Half the other instances before that, the steroid trial, Owen Hart's death, shit. Like WWF had like a pretty bad stain on their record, and then they had to turn a new leaf.
That's bad turning the leaf though, and like it's still gonna sting. And just remind you, I still want to know more about it, but it's just like you take a look at it, you're hearing who's on that plane. You had Kurt Hennig, you had Brock, a young Brock at that. You had ECW legends of RVD, Shot, Dreamer, and Shot and Just Incredible. You have that. You probably had Skull Hall, X Pac, but you probably had Nash as well. Nash is probably was on the plane, but I'd never say his name. You probably had Stone Cold and Undertaker on that plane, but you probably heard those names as well. But my heart goes out to you for the young stewardess that have gone through what she has gone through. I know it's a traumatic time because of what you witness. Everybody telling you don't file lawsuits. Now this is your story. Now everybody's hearing it. You open up the doors for everyone else that probably got gone through the issues with Mr. Wu himself, Ric Flair. If y'all cancel Bill Cosby, y'all should cancel Ric Flair. And that's all that I can say about that. I remember the episode where me and Blackheart and another person was sitting talking about Jimmy Snuka and his drug issues and how that WWE should have should have got rid of him in the Hall of Fame. Why not do the same? Do that for Ric Flair. Get rid of him. I don't know if AEW is smart enough, which I really think they are. Because if Impact's doing what they did to Tommy Dreamer, I know what AEW is going to do with Ric Flair. They're not going to sign him. Because that right there is going to hurt. That right there is going to hurt themselves. If they do, even showing them on TV is going to even tarnish that whole entire company. So if I was AEW, don't do it. Andrade, I know you want your daddy-in-law there. The story, it's not gonna happen. I want to know what's gonna happen to Charlotte. It might come down on her. Just because of stories. It might bash her. Just because who her father is. Tamina has gone through it. You all know that.
Well, you gotta think of what Charlotte Flair feels about this.
I understand that, and like I said, remember when we was talking about Tamina? We told the whole Jimmy Snuka story.
Yes.
Now let's take a look at what's gonna happen for Charlotte Flair. Now you got the fans gonna be sitting there probably bashing her. They might try to tarnish her name just because who her daddy is.
I mean, it's not her fault. It's just she's gonna get some heat because that's her dad. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
No matter what, she's gonna get heat. Whether it's her work in the ring, as you already do on a weekly basis here on OTTR, anyway. But now, when something that you are an offspring of someone that did something, and now it's being brought to light, these new generation of fans don't give a fuck. They'll let you have it. I think the other ones would just they'll know when to tick you off, and then once you're walking away up the tunnel, they'll throw something at you to get you wound up. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how you probably get your revenge on someone. I think now it's really like, no, people are really trying to jump over fences. So imagine someone trying to jump over a fence and then try to attack Ric Flair next, or Charlotte, or even Andrade. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Like, these people's safety is now being on the line because of how people feel about someone's situation that happened 19 years ago.
That's true. But like I said, and I'm keep saying this. Everybody knows my slogan. Fuck WWE shit. Oh yeah, fuck you, Ric Flair, for the shit you have done. Like, come on. If this is one person, how many more stories you probably think? How many women that might have been scared or told to do not say something probably now might come forward?
You might not listen. You might never know. You might never know now because of this. What new shit can start to be developing, and Ric Flair cannot even be working anymore. He'll have really no other choice but to retire.
And this is why I sat there and said, this is why I mentioned Bill Cosby in the whole sense.
But Bill Cosby different. Bill Cosby was trying to he was trying to own NBC.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to own the NBC network.
Yo, my bad, ladies and gentlemen, for Blackheart's voice.
Nah, it's fine.
His voice got deep.
I was saying, Bill Cosby's situation was different. He was trying to own NBC, the network itself. You know what I'm saying? And of course, they didn't want that.
But understandable. But yeah, you take a look at the charges he have got. The charges of how he drugged women for all those previous years.
Right. I get it. That's the same painting that what basically they was saying about what happens to these people, wrestlers and ring rats. So I know, but there was a hidden agenda behind Bill Cosby. This one is just basic blue collar bullshit that anyone could have done this shit and kidnap a person. They'd be missing for 3 days, and some people start worrying, a family starts worrying, and then next thing you know, she ends up dead within like a week. Yeah. But I don't want to get into that because that just reminded me of a situation up here that happened like a year and a half, close to 2 years ago, and that brought up that memory. That's why I was like, this different situation, there's different scenarios when it comes to those two people in this situation. It may be similar, but who has more to gain and lose, Bill Cosby or Ric Flair? I say Bill Cosby because, number one, at the time, he was one of the top black actors in the 70s and in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? And we start to transition over to start owning more shit so he can make more money, of course. You know, what other objective would you have if you're this actor, especially an African American actor, but you know, trying to get involved into some shit that you want to try to get some ownership somewhere, and certain people may not like that. Like, you should be where the fuck that you at and stay there, and you shouldn't be like, this is your ceiling, and that's it.
True. But you know what?
Ric Flair, who's already done everything the fuck that he could for nearly 50 years,
as being described and called as the best wrestler of all time.
And so, with his window already closing out, say be like Bill Cosby's, he has nothing else to lose either. He's done everything else. I don't think, if you try to tell me if this the rumor is true, that Ric Flair versus Trevor Murdoch is supposed to happen at the next NWA pay-per-view, and if he actually wins that, I'll be deadly shocked. I already said the wrestling world just completely froze the fuck over. The day I never thought I would see something like that, it happened.
If that happens, I swear to you, I am not watching the NWA. And God, and NWA has some great wrestlers over there.
And NWA shouldn't have that match anymore either.
True, that shouldn't be canceled.
Right, that should actually be canceled right now. So I think if anything, you know what I'm saying, this is Ric Flair time to walk away. Just walk away, just be like, yo, listen, I'm standing by my word. Yes, this happened, shit like that, blah, 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 but look at who the fuck I was back then compared to who the fuck I am now. Now I'm married, settled down, and I got my kid still alive, Charlotte. The other one passed away, God rest his soul. But it's just time for him to move on. And I mean, by all this now makes me wonder about what the hell was he capable of back then. I'm trying to think about all the promos that he spent about taking women to Space Mountain. I wonder, was it consensual or did you drug them too? No, I'm just saying that when all them promos back in the day when Ric Flair was always talking about taking women to Space Mountain, I wonder, was that consensual or was that premeditated for him to do something, unworldly? So that's all that I was saying. But yo, dudes, we got to do a weekly show in 10 minutes, man. So I want to wrap up this After Dark right here. I said my piece, you said your piece. As he already turned off his camera. Y'all know what the hell to find us, man. Y'all follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Off the Top Rope Podcast. Follow the podcast on YouTube. Check out the channel, man. We got tons of great content, and we're still building up the library. So tune in to what the fuck we got for next for y'all. Follow the podcast on Anchor, Google Podcast, Breaker Podcast, Radio Public Podcast, Spotify, Audio, Podbean, and Spotify Green Room as well. I forgot to put that out earlier. Y'all know who the hell I am. Y'all know where to find the insurance to Bonfire, bonfire.com/store/Off the Top Roast Podcast. And also for the new slides, 2 new colors that came out, the red and black and the white and black, are now available on deco.com, deco.com/Off the Top Roast Podcast. You'll find the designs on there. $40 for some good footwear, $20 for the tees. But check out the merchandise store, man, for real. We got some new stuff up there, man. You're going to love what we got, and you're going to love for what we're about to be in store. And, First Lady in the building, as I'm about to wrap up this After Dark. I'm already done with this After Dark. I'm just telling Dukes, we're about to cut this right now and go into our weekly taping. But I mean, I would ask you for your quick opinion about what you saw on Dark Side of the Ring, the Plane Ride from Hell, and what was your opinion on it?
So, distasteful.
I mean, you can make it quick because we already been through the episode already, but you can still squeeze in your last part.
I mean, I don't know what you guys have discussed about it, but I mean, it's disgusting. Like,
I mean, I said pretty much Ric Flair should have been in jail, but WWE covered this up and they only fine and suspend or fire certain other people, but Ric Flair was still there. So I wonder what him and Ric Flair's conversation was, what him and Vince McMahon's conversation was after the incident about him and being in the company, and he's still there. And
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't get it. Like, why?
But also, I also said that you can't blame Dustin for his action because his action was minor compared to everyone else's. I also said Scott Hall, you can't blame him for that because his substance abuse been documented for decades already. And I truly believe that because Kurt Hennig was also on that plane, he is a ripper. He's gonna do some shit. So I know him being there had to do something with that as well. So, and can't blame JR because he's just a stooge for Vince, being the mouthpiece for Vince, but Vince made some final calls. At the end of the day, I said, fuck WWE and fuck Vince McMahon and fuck Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Me Goose was basically saying that they should be canceling anything Ric Flair related right now. Charlotte Flair is going to get heat. So is Andrade. And these fans may go out of here by hopping over the rail or saying some derogatory shit.
Yeah.
And it's going to go sideways. So I think Ric Flair should just walk away from wrestling and just retire.
Agreed. And I mean, I'm shaking my head at the way Tommy Dreamer was defending all this bullshit. Like what the hell?
Yeah, wait. But here's the thing about Tommy Dreamers, though, and that I mean, I didn't put him involved in this because the way that he was saying it was his tone is what got him in trouble.
Yeah.
Because if you would have said that to any other person, they really wouldn't give a fuck. But because it was Ric Flair, and basically, if Ric Flair had done this before, and you can tell that he's done this before.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta think about where he was back then, in the 70s and 80s, to where he was at in in the early 2000s, and how times had changed, and women's the women's movement, women's empowerment, equality issues, all that shit had built up, and that's how we were trying to give women more respect and not look at them as just a regular say housewives and shit like that.
Exactly.
Women can be more than that. You know what I'm saying? That was the time where the evolution was happening. So I think women was more like, nah, I'm not going to accept this abuse from this guy, whoever the fuck he is, and I'm going to take action on this.
Exactly.
And but basically, Tommy Dreamers was just different. It was Ric Flair actually doing it.
Yeah,
it's more troublesome than what Tommy Dreamer has said.
Yeah.
But of course, because people are sensitive. I mean, yes, today's people are sensitive. Yes, I'm gonna fucking say it.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers are sensitive nowadays. That's why the whole cancel culture movement and all that bullshit that we talked about before had changed the landscape of so much shit. And I don't want to do a deep obvious on this because I can be here forever. And we got a show to do. But nonetheless, just people gotta be held accountable for their actions.
They really do.
End of the fucking day. There's only a few of them that did, others that haven't, and Terry Reynolds still call me, baby. I'm dead serious. Oh my gosh, he still looks great. So I don't care what Duke gotta say about that one, but I'm ending this after dark. So hate yourself, each other. Also, we bid y'all adieu. Thank you for tuning in.
So you're back on the